Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Tinkaton in the Open Ultra League. We got some battles sent to us here where, yeah, I kind of really want to take a look at this Pokemon. Like, this is the thing. This Pokemon is very likely one of the strongest that you can build for the Open Ultra League. This is not fully XL, it is nearly though, so like it's only like a few power-ups away from being at 2500 CP. And we're already gonna see here on how good this Pokemon is going to be here for the Open Ultra League. Thanks so much for sending in some battles. I got 2 times basically different teams sent in with Tinkaton. The other one was actually a full XL one, but I don't know, I wasn't able to download the gameplay. But yeah, I'm very happy about this one here as well, especially as you're going to have also some Shadow Poliwrath action, a Pokemon that actually is also really good in the Great League Remix Cup apparently. There's a lot of players are using this with a lot of success currently, especially the higher up Elo range, so a cool Pokemon nonetheless, even though it got nerfed with Counter and Mudshot to be fair. This Pokemon still has a lot of potential. Anyway, we're going to see also Blastoise, which doesn't really do a lot of fast move pressure, but has a lot of pressure with the charge moves it has. As you can see here, Tinkaton goes up now against Giratina. Giratina is locked into this Pokemon, and the hardest hitting move they have here is Shadow Sneak, which barely does any damage, while, yeah, they're going to be able to go for the Play Rough, which is going to do around 50%, I would assume, based on the damage. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Like 60 to 70%. This was more than I expected. And yeah, Tinkaton is also one cool Pokemon because you can get the Pokemon, the IV that you want for the Open Ultra League by hatching it. You don't need, actually, I think it's like 10, 15, 15 or something. But like basically the best IVs for the Open Ultra League are Egg IVs, which is really nice to get because, yeah, that's the main way of getting this Pokemon beforehand. Currently, I think it is not possible to get this Pokemon, because it's currently out of X, but not too sure about this one. But yeah, as well, you see here as well, first game is going to be a victory here. Next up, we're going to see Malamar. That is going to be an interesting Pokemon, as you're going to see now the, that just want to stay in here, resisting the fast move. They have to go for superpower to do damage. And we're going to get out the Weezing, where you're going to let the first move go. I feel like it would have been also a cool play to shield the first move and then go for the Skull Bash in order to boost your own defense and have a better time afterwards. But I guess in this case you still would survive another Play Rough anyway thanks to the Skull Bash. And so I guess you can just play out the Zero Shield scenario, which is going to work out quite well for you, as you're going to have pressure with the Hydro Cannon. With a boost on your defense, you might be even able to get to another Hydro Cannon in time before you go down. And yes, that's going to be the case. So well played here. This is going to give you the biggest advantage you can ask for, and you're actually going to swap out to catch them off guard with your Tinkaton. So you now have a 2-shield advantage here, got rid of the Weezing, and let's see what is coming in next. We still see Boulders here, which is kind of interesting play. I looked at it beforehand, and I was not too sure if Boulders is the right choice here. It could be also that Heavy Slam is a little bit better. But, yeah, depends. We will see here today anyway. We're going to have a little bit more gameplay, but I looked at it beforehand and it looked like that Boulders wasn't ideal. In the Great League, you kind of can get away with it, but in the Ultra League, it can be a bit tricky. Here, using a shield, by the way, is kind of smart because they could have Solar Beam. They're going to go for the Body Slam, and this is not going to be a Solar Beam then, so like you can let the move go through. But respecting the potential of a little bit of spice there is definitely the right choice. As we will see, you can easily still take another hit. It's going to be just the Body Slam as well, and now the Malamar. I would actually use a shield here just for fun, because you're going to be able to get the debuff onto them, and they cannot not get rid of it, but never mind. They actually don't even knock you out anyway, and you can go for a Scald, which doesn't guarantee the debuff, but gonna give you a lot more damage. Here, Boulders would be most likely enough already as well at this point. But you're going to be able to get the KO with the Tinkaton. And again, Tinkaton showcases why it's so strong. For Alligator in the lead, you are going to swap out into your own Blastoise. Blastoise is, I think, stronger than for Alligator currently, like in terms of what it can do in this like mirror matchup. But as we'll see as well, we're going to have the opponent going into the Corviknight, which is a very nice matchup for the Blastoise. I think Blastoise should be able to win this battle. Normal Blastoise, non-Shell Blastoise in the Open Ultra League fully XL is ridiculous, by the way. The bulk this Pokemon has, now where it has a better fast move, it is mad. Like, it is mad. I do think that Blastoise still is balanced, though. I wouldn't say that, like, Blastoise is absolutely broken. But it's a very, very strong Pokemon that is very difficult to check if you don't have an electric or grass-type Pokemon. Because as you're going to see already, the opponent used a shield. The opponent's still going to be in a position where they are going to go down. Like, what? Of course, they're going to be able to fully farm you down here. You nearly even get to another Hydro Cannon, but you're going to have the best answer for the charge moves here anyway in the Poliwrath. Poliwrath resists every single charge move of the opponent unless they would be purified and have return, which Clearly they're not. It's visible if they're purified or not. And so you can take the hits. I still would use a shield here, of course. Go for a Scald against the opponent. Try to get them low with that one. You have to overform by a little bit. Very nice play here. Going for 4 fast move, which is the perfect play because they're going to get to their own charge move after 5. And so, as we will see here, we're going to let the move go through. The Hydro Cannon is going to connect, and they have in the back the Skeledirge, where Bulldoze is the only way to go. But you still have to hope for a lot of luck here in order to have a chance. But you don't even want to play it out, which I guess is fair. Yeah, there was no way of winning. Next up, Greninja. It's actually better for the backline to have Greninja here. I don't actually think that you should stay in here for too long. You can get, of course, the advantage a little bit. I guess that is a fair play. But it was not needed. Yeah, as we see as well, see the swap out into the Blasters, but they have 2 great answers against the Greninja in the back as well. And they can resist the main damage source of this Pokemon, which is the water type damage. And of course, Poliwrath is the best answer to it. And so, if you can align yourself, which you should be able to do here against the Skeledirge, you're going to be able to have... Oh, you're going to let the move go through. It's going to be a disarming voice. You can still survive that one. And you actually still get to 2 Hydro Cannons. Even if they shield here, you still get to another one. They decide to use a shield. Blasters is ridiculous. Like, literally, what is Blasters doing other than completely destroying everything? So you have a shield advantage. You know the opponent's team. You should go Tinkaton here. You have Player for this Pokemon. And you win this battle. Like, there's nothing the opponent can do here. Like, what do they want to do? Like, literally, you can just use a shield here. Just use a shield. In this case, you still survive a Aqua Jet though. So, like, you don't need to even use a shield. But yeah, this game is over. Like, this game is so over. They can, of course, not swap out into the Greninja for the Player off. But they also cannot swap out into the Greninja for the Poliwrath here. Because, guess what? 2-shield Poliwrath is going to be able to quite easily win this battle. And now we have the Tinkaton Mirror, but the opponent has the fully XL version. This one is here still missing 100 CP basically. But let's see on how this is gonna go. We have the Player coming through, so they are going for Player? Like, no matter what moveset you have, Player seems to be kind of the worst option that you can go for. If you have Bulldoze, go for Bulldoze, super effective. If you have Heavy Slam, go for Heavy Slam, neutral. Why would you go for the Player? Like, that doesn't really make too much sense. And as you're going to see here, a single move Tinkaton. They have Bulldoze. They get the defense drop now, but like, I don't know why they just didn't go for the Bulldoze from the beginning to get the defense drop, to get the super effective damage on. And you're gonna swap out into your Blastoise, which is honestly a very smart play. I would shield here actually. If you don't shield, that is fine as well. You don't need to. But at the end of the day, this matchup is going to mostly, yeah, be there for a little bit longer. And with shielding, you're just going to have, debuff damage coming up against you afterwards. So, yeah, this would have been something that I at least would have done. You're still going to be able to go for another Scalbage, I think. Why do they go for Aqua Jet? That doesn't make sense. You can survive the hit here. You don't have to shield. At this point, shielding doesn't make sense. Even XL you still survive. Like, why did they go for that? I have absolutely no clue. But yeah, you're going to have not a 2-shield advantage. You're going to be able to align yourself. Then we have a really bad Pokemon for you, though, to deal with, which is going to be the Jellicent. Because of all the defense boosts, you're actually still going to get to a Hydro Cannon, which is cool. And you're going to catch the move, which is going to be very likely to serve onto your Poliwrath, which is the only way of really, still having a chance of winning this. So I respect the play. And what you can do at least is you can go for the Icy Wind spam, I guess, against the opponent. You're going to get the defense drop here, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, we see a shield coming up because you have to. And I guess you're going to see some Icy Winds coming up because you need to get the guaranteed debuff onto the opponent. So I respect this play. I think this is the right play as well, and you're going to swap out. You got the shield from the opponent. That's mad. And as you know that you only get to one move, you're going to go for the Bulldoze here instead. Also, at this point, you have the option to try to win by timeout. That is a way to go. You just need to have more health than the opponent. I think timeout is coming up very soon in this battle. And we will see that you should be able to still take a hit. And I think at this point, you can go for a Scald. Shell Wall is coming through. We're going to see here the Scald coming in. Is this going to be enough to knock them out? It's going to be very, very close. It is going to be enough. And you see already the time on the top is literally just ticking down. Bit lucky there. Bulldoze debuff definitely worked out quite well for you. But we have here the Ampharos against you. Your backline really doesn't want to face this Pokemon. Your lead, it's actually okay. You could go for the Bulldoze spam, which I think would have been the better play here. While yes, Bulldoze does less damage than a Player does, you have the chance of debuffing them. It is cheaper. And you have to go for one anyway. So I would have just went for the Bulldoze in the beginning because you're gonna have the option to debuff them. And then if you get the debuff, the second one most likely would KO with a little bit of fast move pressure. But at least you're still going to be able to get 2 shields from the opponent here, which is going to be fair. This is going to be really good for you, and you could even swap out, yeah, you're going to swap out here as well. They're going to go to the Broguiere, which is lovely that you went to the Blasters here, because like this you can just go for the Skull Bash. The opponent doesn't really have a lot of charge move pressure against you. They could have, of course, an option here would be the Moonblast, but they're very likely going to have Disarming Voice here. Yep. If you have Charm, you usually just go for the Disarming Voice because you just never really get the energy for the other move. You have a ton of energy, and this goes down up against the Emperors. I actually would shield just to get rid of them, but you decided to let the move go through and rather take the shield advantage here. Again, you get a bit of energy advantage, I guess, on this Pokemon, but yeah, I don't know if it was needed. We'll see here the Talonflame. This is definitely going to be a win for you because, yeah, perfect timing here with the Scald. The Scald is coming through. It's going to be able to knock them out, guaranteed. And we can move on to the next opponent. So far, Tinkaton is absolutely amazing, and we're going to see another battle here, or like another matchup where Tinkaton is really showcasing what it can do. And it has to showcase what it can do because we see a core breaker for this team. We're going to see here the Venusaur. The Venusaur is going to be, yeah, basically a core breaker. It's going to be able to resist the main damage of this Pokemon. It's going to be able to resist the main damage of the other 2 Pokemon. If you would have energy, of course, on the Poliwrath, you're going to be fine there because you have Icy Wind, but you don't. And so this is going to be a tough one, absolutely, for sure here. And as you're going to see, another Bulldoze is coming through. You're going to be able to get the defense drop onto them, which is very lucky that you get them all the time there, which is, I guess, like part of why people are running Bulldoze though. Like it is literally the main reason for a lot of people. And so we're going to have here now the Pangoro coming back in. It has to take basically a hard-hitting move here as well, which they're going to use a shield up against, and you still have your fight against it. So like it's great that you stayed in there because it allows you to align yourself perfectly. And this is going to be absolutely amazing as the close combat is coming through. We have the Licky coming in now, and you're going to be able to go for the Hydrocan spam mode to say, but you're actually just going to be able to win the battle as the opponent decides to forfeit. Virizion here. This is going to be again a matchup that you should win as a Tinkaton. Sacred Sword is going to be a little bit, oh, close combat, that is a nice spicy move, but they swap it into the the Gyarados here, which is a very nice spicy Pokemon. But you should be able to have a great matchup here with the Blastoise. You can just literally go for the Skull Bash spam. You're going to be able to get there for 2 before they can knock you out because you're going to get the defense buff here now anyway. And you can just even go for the full farm down. They get to another move, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you are going to be in not a range where they can really knock you out with a Virizion's fast move either, because you just still get to those moves. You're going to boost their defense even further. And so they're going to be thinking here, I kind of have to go for a charge move eventually, but no, they're going to allow you to get off a Hydro Cannon here, which is very, very nice for you, as we will see here as well that the Bulldoze coming through. It's going to be enough. It would have been enough, but they decided to use a shield. You let the move go through as well. I guess you kind of hope, that they go for the bait and they win for the bait. Now using a shield is very smart because you can hope for the Bulldoze debuff against whatever is in the back. There's going to be the Muk, which is a Pokemon that is not really that commonly seen nowadays anymore, but it's not too bad here in this matchup. But still, there's a reason why Muk is not really that common anymore. Like, it was actually one of the top tier meta Pokemon, by the way, when it first got released, because the top meta was Cresselia and the Giratina. Literally everybody was like playing Cresselia Giratina, and so a Snarl version of Alolan Muk was a really good Pokemon back in the day, being able to counter both of those, while having also options to play up against Fairy type Pokemon with moves like Sludge Wave, or I think even Gang Shadow would have learned. So yeah, cool Pokemon, but doesn't really have play here against this team. And we're already in the final battle, and thanks so much again for sending in the battles. If you have interesting battles, there's a link down below. I have some other battles that got sent to me as well that I definitely want to showcase as well, so thanks so much for sending them in. There are definitely going to be a video towards something else that got sent to me, but here we see a Giratina, and that is a bit scary because you don't have Ice Beam on your Pokemon, but they don't know about that, and so they actually still call it though. That's a bit annoying. They're going to be able to have a very good matchup here against the Blastoise. But I guess it's still better to have it up here, where you get to Hydro Cannons quite fast. You still have neutral play with the fast move itself, than if you would have it up against your fighting type. And now you're going to have to take a charge move here. It is going to be the Shadow Ball from the opponent. We are going to be able to see here as well that you're going to get a player off against the Swampert. This is going to get them at half health. And you kind of try to rely here, I think, on your final Pokemon, which should be kind of fine. This is going to be the Hydro Cane coming through. We are going to be able to go back into the Poliwrath, which is gonna be oh, we're actually gonna get the Hydro Cannon off here. I forgot that they had this dot. Very smart play. Absolutely getting the play out of, or like getting something out of here already. And we have the Melmetal, while also keeping the Blasters as a potential sacrificial swap for later on, is a very, very smart move. So I like this one for sure. I think it's a great idea here to play it like this. And we have the Icy one now coming through against the opponent's Giratina, which is going to drop the opponent's damage output, of course, quite significantly. As you see here, Shell Ball is coming through. We're going to be able to go for another AC Wind. This is going to allow you to get the guaranteed debuff onto them again, as you gotta catch the move on the Blasters. Just perfectly executed. Like, there's nothing else I can say about it other than it's just perfectly executed. But is it enough to win the battle? That is the question here, as we have still the Poliwrath up against the Melmetal, doing a ton of damage against it. We see the Ice Wind coming through, but I think it might just barely not be enough, as we will see here as well that they're gonna still have the Giratina and they win with 1 HP in a dream. This is going to be it for this video. Thanks so much for sending in the battles, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you then. Bye bye.